This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's hear about what's going on with the Horsemen. We got a clip here from Pro. We've got Ole and Arn here doing a couple of promos. Number 16 here. It's Pro, March 28th, 1987.
Hands up, a man that James J. Dillon tried to get rid of by hiring Big Bubba.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be pretty hard to get rid of Ole Anderson. I know a lot of people have tried. I want to know where in the world of people like Tully Blanchard and J.J. Dillon and Arn, and of course my dear cousin Rick, where do they get off trying to tell me that it's more important for me to make a date with them someplace? It's more important for me to go out to a party with them than it is to go home and be with my family or be with that snot-nosed boy of mine. I'd like to know, in all the years that I've wrestled, who in the world ever is going to attack family? You might come out here and punch me in the nose, and I expect it. I might go over and punch you in the nose, and you better expect it. I might even go jump somebody over in the parking lot. That's all part of it. In our wrestling business, we expect the competition, and sometimes we expect the Pearl Harbor and the sneak attack. But I'll tell you what, when you start talking about family, particularly when you start talking about mine, that's one thing that don't go, and it hasn't got any place. And Flair, I tell you what, you really surprised me. Family? Why, you talk about throwing me out of the Horsemen. Forget about the Horsemen. How about throwing you out of the family? How about throwing you, throwing Tully, throwing JJ, throwing Arn out? I want to see what it's like when you go home. If you think so little about my family and you think so little about these people's family out here, what do you think it's going to be like when you go home? One of these days, somebody's going to wake up and they're going to realize that they're sitting next to a guy that just isn't worth much. Right now, the score is 1-0. You guys really pulled a fast one on me. But you make a mistake, and you ought to know I'm the teacher. I'm the guy that taught a lot of you, and even Tully, a few things I showed you in the gym. But you didn't learn it all. I didn't show it all. You better get ready, because now there's not going to be any mercy. I'm looking for every one of you. And we might as well start with you, Big Bubba, you big tub of guts. When I get to Baltimore in the 10th, you look out.
Okay, fans, more action right after this timeout.
See, apparently Ole still doesn't realize what happened. He's making excuses and trying to put the blame on everybody, but right where it should go. Tony Schiavone, you don't want to talk about business. Ole don't want to talk about business. He wants to talk about family. Okay, Ole, let's talk family. You see, you talk about you didn't want to make a date with the Horsemen to go to some party because of family. Ole, the Horsemen were your family. It was the Horsemen. It was the success of the Horsemen that provided all the jewelry, all the cars, the milk, the bread that fed your family. You see, Ole Anderson, everything we do in our lifestyle comes from the success of the Four Horsemen. Now you want to turn your back. How much bread and milk are you going to buy, Ole, turning your back on the Horsemen, being a cast-off? Explain that to your kid. He wanted to be an amateur champion. He is. But I want you to look him in the eye, Ole, when your income goes down and say, was it worth the price? Was it worth it?
Let's go to the ring, fans.
Man, I'm loving the advancement of the storyline here. And of course, that's really the chief thing we're trying to get over, especially in this era. We've got a promo with all of the Horsemen from that same show, Pro. This is number 17. Everybody's together here on March 28th, 1987. Let's take a listen.
Really looking right. It's funny what can happen in a matter of a time span of less than 60 minutes. It wasn't too long ago the American Dream was standing out here, all puffy, number 2 seed Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup. The opening bell hasn't even sounded in Baltimore, and it looks right now that the American Dream doesn't even have a partner. And he has the audacity to stand out here and even refer to the world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. Huh. You know, Tony Schiavone, as I stand here among the elite in the greatest sport in the world, I know for a fact it has to send chills through your body, because you stand out here hour after hour with guys that mean nothing in this sport compared to the Four Horsemen. Tully Blanchard, the world television champion. Double A, one of the greatest of all time. Lex Luger, give it to him one time, Lex. Mr. Woo! Boy, that's what they do at every club across the country. Tell him, Tully. You know what, Rick? Being one of the Four Horsemen 24 hours a day is what it's all about, Tony Schiavone. That's why we can come out here. That's why the girls are screaming. That's why we got all the belts. You know, I always said Rex Luger strives to be the best, everything he does. That's why I came to Massachusetts. I want to be a horseman. That's what's come to pass. Check it out. The best body in the Bay is the goddamn Dusty Rhodes, and he's the single greatest attraction sports today. Well, check it out. Dusty Rhodes. You're looking at the new one. That's past tense. Take a good look, Ole Anderson.
And for Bob Cottle and Johnny Weaver, I'm Tony Schiavone. See you next week on NWA Pro Wrestling.
How hard was it to keep a straight face for some of Rick's shit back then?
Impossible.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com. Well, it's almost impossible to follow a Fun Horseman promo, but on Worldwide, we're going to hear from Ole Anderson, number 18 here. It's March 18th, 1987. Let's hear what Ole's got to say about all that's happening here.
Are you one of the Four Horsemen?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to cry too much about it not being a horseman. I don't know what the heck they think they're talking about. I'm the one that started, and I guess I'm the one that's going to call an end to it, not those guys. But you look around, they wanted to have youth, they wanted speed, they wanted somebody's going to hang around and party with them. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't have that youth anymore, but I got a lot of years of experience, and experience counts for something. And I've had a lot of people in the last couple of weeks come up and tell me what it was like working on a job someplace when a young punk came up, and they had to show them how to do it. Well, it's the same thing in wrestling. I had to show those young punks how to do it. But like any good teacher, there's always a few things that you don't show them. And there's one thing that came to my mind here. Somebody said to me, hey, Ole, look at those guys. They got youth, they got speed, and they got belts. Arn was a TV champion, now Tully's a TV champion. Luger, you just hope to be a champion, maybe you'll get it. Flair, you're the biggest champion of all, world heavyweight champion. People asked, Ole, how come you have never been the TV champion? How come you have never gone after that world heavyweight champion? Well, I'll tell you, up to now, since it was all family, I just played it that way. I said, okay, family, that's the way it stays. You want to be champion? I'm not even going to ask for a match. I'm not even going to think about getting that TV belt. I'm not even going to think about going after that world heavyweight belt. But since I'm an old man, I'm a war horse, and I still figure I maybe got one ride left, well, then why not go for the biggest ride of all? You get up here, you talk to Mr. Ric Flair, world heavyweight champion, and you ask him how many times he gave me a shot at that world heavyweight title. You ask Blanchard how many times he gave me a shot. I'll tell you what, the old war horse got that one ride left, and I'm going to ride them both to the...
Here,
How excited was he? I mean, golly. Ole can, I mean, you can't hold a candle to him in this era, can you?
No, we're just to the point. Never stumbled over a word. No sentence fragments. Just got to the point.
Is it just repetition, or was he just that damn good?
Well,
or both?
You got to remember, how long had he been in the business at that point?
About 73 years.
He came from the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, he was getting those reps, those weekly same town reps talking about, and you had to know what you were talking about. You had to know what you did last week, so you know what you can talk about this week, and the market specs, week after week after week, same towns. That's how guys got good reps.
And of course, the business has changed quite a bit.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.